Welcome back. I'm going to try to solve some more chess puzzles today, so hopefully one of us will learn something. All right, last time we barely broke 1800, but again, we're not worried about the rating as much as we are about learning to be better at chess. Here, it looks like we have a check, and then the knight will be forced to capture, and then we will follow with the queen. And then I think we go here. Or do we take with the pawn? I think we go there with the queen. And then here with the queen, or there with the... Yeah, if we go there with the queen, the king can escape. So let's go there with the pawn. All right. Wasn't quite sure about that. I started moving before I had thought the whole thing out, which I think is probably best. But just in case you missed it, I saw that the pawn guarded this square for the king couldn't escape this way, so the knight would be forced to capture once I checked with the rook. What I didn't see is that the king would then have an escape route here, so some of the puzzle was a little bit harder. See, now the king has an extra escape route once I take with the queen. But my pawns guard all these squares, so that helped a lot, and now my queen cuts off this diagonal. So that was checkmate, because my other pawn here cuts off that square. All right, that puzzle was rated 1860, but has no theme listed. Next puzzle. Keep that in mind if you're ever doing puzzles by theme on chess.com. A lot of these puzzles either don't have a theme at all or have the wrong theme, as we've found out several times. Here I do have a check that's protected. The king would be forced to move. Then, and then I'm not sure. I'm trying to keep in mind these bishops that are pointed this direction. But let's see. Once we check here, there's no other option but except for the king to move. I don't know if we should follow up because both of these rooks are looking very dangerous down there. We could follow up here, but then this rook would capture. Let's see, what are the other options? If we follow up here, any number of pieces could capture. We could also follow up here, but then the king would take. I don't know. I mean, I'm almost certain that that's the first move, but we have to keep checking after that because the opponent has this. And actually, that wouldn't be mate, though, so I'm not terribly worried. I just, they also have, that's also protected. Okay, well, let's think about this for a minute. We capture on f7. King has two choices, now that I think about it. Now, if it goes to h7, then we come back here with our queen because that bishop is looking at that square as well. I think is what we would do. But I don't think the king, because of that, I don't think the king will go to h7. I think it will go to h8. And that's kind of a problem for me. What do we do next? Because this pawn's in the way, and also their queen is hitting that square. Otherwise, that would come in really handy, protected by the rook. I don't know. They've got two pieces guarding that diagonal, so that doesn't make sense, does it? But that's got to be the beginning of the puzzle. Now, I will be a little frustrated if it comes this way, which allows us to come with this check and then some follow-ups there. But that one wouldn't be mate either because that would just give us another pawn and force the king back to the corner. And then, yes, we could take here, but that's not check. And then the bishop would take, and we would take, and that would be check, but then the king would go back to where it started. See what I'm saying? So I'm missing something after this. That just looks like it fails to any number of rooks or bishops capturing it. And no matter which piece they use to capture there, if we came down with our rook, they have a whole nother rook waiting to capture there. So this isn't check and gives up the queen, even though there is a follow-up that also is not check. So that's why I'm not even really considering that option. At that point, should we maybe bring, I think maybe we should bring this bishop? Maybe? Get it out of danger? Maybe that's it. Okay. Or put the queen here, which protects the bishop. But it doesn't protect this bishop, though. Right? If I go here, you know what though? If I go there, they won't take this bishop because I'm threatening mate. Yeah, it's got to be that. Okay, they did take that bishop, so I just get the queen. I didn't think they would give up their queen, but we had a mating sequence down there just in case. Okay, that's what I didn't see, is that I would be threatening mate because of that bishop. So this was the first move. That was the second one. That's what I didn't see at the beginning. And if they didn't take this bishop, I don't know what else they could have done, because that bishop was guarding us to go here. And even if they had moved back, that would have been mate because our rook cuts off these squares. Okay, so that's what they had to do. All right, that took me a little bit longer than I thought it would, but we got it. All right, they've moved a pawn forward. Looks like we're even on material all the way down to the pawns. Just the pawns aren't exactly symmetrical. Okay, so we have a couple of checks, but I don't know that any of them are good. This one looks like it just loses to the knight. This one just loses our knight immediately. And this one looks like it loses our knight immediately. So 3 different checks. I don't think any of them are very good. Should I be worried about this pawn? I don't think so. If it captures, we will capture back, although I don't know which way yet. I'll figure that out if the time comes. If it moves forward, I can capture it with the king or my rook. So I'm leaning toward knight to f3 to get rid of that knight. Well, if it captured me, I would take back with check. But if it didn't capture me, if it did something else like this, then I would have to do that or this. Still not sure yet. Then I'm not sure what they would do. They might move this rook forward to threaten the rook. Oh, but if they did that, I could just take the knight with the rook. That's the thing. Here I would have 2 pieces hitting the knight. Another option would be to go here, threatening their rook. And if they took with the king, then I would get their knight and be aiming at all these pawns across here. So I think my first move is a knight move, but I'm not sure which one. This way gives up a knight for a knight. So I don't think that's as good. I think this one's better, and that's what I'm going to try. That wasn't it. It was something else. Okay. Well, we're going to learn from this. It was just taking the knight with the rook, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, I see that now. All right. But then, that's not that good, though. Yeah, see, it looks like you got an extra piece, but you didn't. Because it's their turn, and your knight can't go anywhere. I mean, you're going to take out another pawn with it. Yeah, but I definitely think they're coming for our knight right now, and then we can't move it because all the squares are covered. But we would have to take out the pawn. They would take us back here, and then we would have to worry about which of these pawns to go after first, I guess. Like something like that. Okay. Well, we lost the points on it, but we saw it. I saw it right after I hit restart, so not too bad. Okay, their queen has come here. It looks like it's about ready to pick up an extra pawn. Also, this bishop. No, that bishop's not really hanging because our pawn also protects that square. But we have this, which protects our pawn and forces their king to move. And then that's mate. I think. Okay. I should have seen that. It should be automatic to check to see if the f2 or the other side f7 square is weak, especially with the uncastled king. All right, so we had checkmate there. Next puzzle. All right. I mean, we can take the rook and it would be protected. No, it would not be protected by our pawn because of the pin. I was going to say we could take the rook threatening their queen, but their queen is fine. In fact, their queen would take back and we can't do anything about it. Very interesting. I noticed that the A file is open, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. Is there some, see, there's not a way to check here because of that rook. But if it took our queen, then we could take their rook, be threatening their queen. See, if we take their rook and they take here, they're threatening mate. I don't know. But yeah, I am starting to wonder if the open A file doesn't have something to do with it. I guess we could put this rook over there. Then what would they do? Then they would plow this thing down in here, maybe? No, I don't know. But what would moving that rook over there really do? It would keep their king from escaping this way, but we can't threaten it on the back rank right now, can we? Is there something obvious that I'm missing? Because I cannot. That's my. Well, actually, I have another check. I have this check, but that also loses to that. Maybe it is that one. Maybe it is rook to e1 check, just giving that rook up because that breaks this pin. And then I can take this rook here. But then doesn't that rook just come back? Oh no, it wouldn't come back then because I would take the queen, so the queen would have to move. Okay, so I give up a rook, a very forcing move. Then I take this one, which threatens their queen. Where would their queen go? Down here for a check? If so, I could bring this rook back. But I know I can't just leave this here unless I'm checking or doing something. Okay, this is one of those puzzles that I felt like I was running into every day when I got up to 2200, 2300 on my last time around. And that's one reason I reset my puzzle rating and started working my way back up through. I would come to this situation where nothing seemed obvious. You know, I can't take the rook this way because of the pin. If I take the rook this way right now, they just take back and they're threatening mate. And what can I do then? If I check, they just take my rook, and then yes, I can take their rook, but then that's just an even trade. So yeah, I have no idea. I'm just gonna make a move, and it's gonna be this one. Okay, I didn't think that was right, but none of them looked right to me. They all looked bad, and I had spent enough time looking at it. Is it just taking the rook? See, now what do I do? Oh, now do I check and then take the queen? All right. I guess that was it. Well, that one did not go as planned. Sorry, I had to pause the video because of a phone call, but yeah, that one, I just could not see the right move. I'm going to click restart here. So I had the right idea that I needed to remove this rook from the pin, but I needed to take this first. So take this first, the queen takes back, then remove the rook from the pin, and then take their queen. Okay. Let's go to the analysis board just out of curiosity. We know that they played there first. Okay. That's the only move that maintains an advantage for black, is to capture there. This one, the problem with that is that they take it, and then when I take this rook, they can check down here, but they also still have their other rook and a bishop left. I didn't think that was that big of a problem because I could just either get out of check or block. Right? It says they would go to c7, but they would definitely have the advantage because of the extra piece. Their extra piece is blocked in right now, but it has to count. Okay. All right, I think I understand that. Next puzzle. That just looks like checkmate because they'll block with the bishop and then we'll take it. Okay, I think it might be one of those deals where it gave me an easier puzzle because I just failed one. It felt bad for me. That one was only rated 1327. Okay. Yeah, I know the computer doesn't have feelings, but maybe it does. They're getting smarter all the time. Okay. Oh, look at this. I like that. Except, well, their queen's guarding that spot. But still, what if I could get rid of their queen somehow? What if I could convince their queen to leave that spot? I know I can open up my battery here by taking that knight, but that doesn't actually force the queen to move because they'll just take back with the pawn, right? Okay. But it's something to keep in mind that I have that available. Right now, maybe I should worry about this pawn. Because the pawn, I mean, that's not that bad, is it? Also, I can take the pawn right now. Should I take the pawn first? I think if I do that, then... No, I don't know if they would do that or not, because my bishop would still be guarding d5. I want to do this first. Oh, that's another option. Yeah, if I take the pawn now, they might come in with their knight here. But if I take this now, that slows this pawn down because their queen's under threat. So they might take, and then once they take, then I can take the pawn. Maybe? Oh no, then I can't because then their bishop's guarding the pawn. Oh my. Okay. What about this? Maybe just take their bishop. Is that how to get the queen away from my battery? Because I'm still looking at this, but their queen is guarding that. If I take this, I'm threatening both their rooks and mate. I think if I do that, I think they come in here with check, which I then have to defend against either with the rook or the king. I don't know which one. Oh, well, the rook, obviously, because of their bishop. I don't know. I'm gonna do it because again, nothing looks great to me here. Maybe I'm just having one of those days where things aren't looking quite perfect to me. My brain's just not seeing the patterns as normal. Hopefully that's not an omen for my rapid game later today. That was it. Okay, well, we've already discussed that their bishop is behind this, so I cannot take with my king. I can, however, just move out of the way. That might be better. My rook's blockading that pawn. Maybe that's better. Not here. Not to h7, because then they have another check with their bishop. And I really don't want to take with my rook, because then they'll take with their bishop, and that'll be check, and I'll have to take back. And then they can check me here with their queen. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to move their queen because I am still threatening mate over there. Okay. I'm going to sidestep. Oh. What in the world? It was the rook? Okay. I'm going to click the analysis because I don't understand. All right. They had, let's see. Okay, this time before their move, Black already had a slight advantage. But their best move was knight to f4. I suppose putting an extra degree of defense on that? No, because then we would... Oh, it's changed its mind. Now it says their best move is bishop to d2. To protect this square against our incoming knight incursion. But instead they played this, and all of a sudden it's -5. But it's only -5 if we take this, and we figured that out. We took the bishop on e3. Then here they played their best move, and for some reason sidestepping is horrible. What are they going to do if we sidestep? Now we only have a -1 advantage. Well, now they're going to go here helping to defend against mate. It says that's their best move by far. Their only move that's not a blunder is here. And we're not supposed to go up the exchange with one of the rooks. Our only move here that's not a blunder is taking the bishop. Wow, and their only move that's not a blunder is taking this bishop. Okay, now we have two moves. Knight to g4 or knight to h5. Wow, if I got to that position, I would not have made the right move, I can tell you that. I'm certain I would not make the right move there. All right, but we're almost at equality if we take that route. But instead, after this pawn captures here, we had to take with the rook, only move that maintains the -5 advantage. And then they have several possible moves, but this looks like the best one for them, and we would take back, and then what they played in the puzzle was here, but that's not their best move according to Stockfish. Stockfish says knight to f4 is their best move. Okay, but they played this, and then I took the rook. Now we're at -7. If the game went on, they would probably take back here. Okay. I have no idea why that's so much better than the other position. Okay. I'm going to click next. Maybe we'll get another easy one since it feels bad for us. That was easy because it's checkmate, because our pawn guards these two squares and nothing guards that square. And that one's rated 1311. Continuing the pattern of after I fail a puzzle, I get an easy one. Okay. I don't think it's going to give me 2 easy ones in a row, is it? It did give me 2 easy ones in a row. 1 move checkmate. Because my queen cuts off these squares, the king has nowhere to go, and they don't have any pieces that can block it. All right. Next puzzle. Is this going to be a hard one? Oh, it's going to be a hard one. Well, I'm in check. I can't capture. I can't move this way. I can move toward the rook. But I do have to move. Oh, no. I can do this. That's got to be best, right? That directly threatens their rook, and they're in check. So if they don't take my rook, I'll take theirs. If they do take my rook, I'll take back. And then I assume they will head this way to block off my pawn, but I will also head that way. I'm going to do that. We've studied our endgames. If you've seen some of my endgame videos where I teach what I've just learned, this was one of the situations that we talked about quite often, was wanting our king in front of the passed pawn. And once I realized that my rook could take their pawn over here at the beginning of this puzzle, that they would have to take back with their rook, and that I would take back with my king, I realized I could very easily get my king in front of this pawn, because we have now what's called the opposition, where their king can't come forward toward our pawn, because our king is guarding those squares. So they're going to have to move to one side or the other. And then I'm going to go to the other side. So if they went here, then I can go here. And then they're going to try to go this way to get my pawn, but I'm going to move my pawn. And then my king is cutting off these squares from over here. And so they can't come in front of my pawn, and they can't come here now because my pawn's guarding that square. So they're going to have to go back, and then I can march my pawn forward and eventually end up getting in front of it. I might have done a couple of those last ones out of order, but that was the idea and why that puzzle was relatively easy for me, even though it's rated 1572. Okay, the theme was opposition, passed pawns. It was not simple, I don't think, but okay, let's go to the next puzzle. Okay, 1844. I have made a little bit of progress. All right. They've just blocked the check from this rook. But I'm wondering if we shouldn't move our other rook over, which would threaten mate. But then I think they will get their knight out. Wait, we can check here, can't we? That's mate. That took me too long to see it. That's mate because our bishops are cutting off these squares, all those squares from the king, and then our knight coming in here hits that square. Yeah, I should have seen that sooner. Okay. I have time for at least one more, so let's do it. And then I have to get on with the rest of my life. Okay, the queen has come down here, trying to sneak around behind us. And if it does, that's checkmate. I think either one of those are checkmate, right? Okay, so we have to be very careful. We can check here, which forces them there. Then we can check here. Let's see, yeah. Rook to d8 check, forces the king up to h7. Then queen to e5 check. They can't go back, so they'd have to advance this pawn. But that would be basically a fortress, wouldn't it? No, it would not, because once they advance that pawn, I could check them in the corner. They would be forced to take it, because this pawn here is guarding that square. And once they took it, then I would take my queen to the back. And they would have to come back up here. Oh, and then I would take this pawn. And they'd have to go back to the corner, and then I would go there and it would be mate. Did you catch all that? It might be wrong. That might not be the fastest solution, but that's what I'm going to do. It didn't go to the final move. All right. I felt pretty good for seeing that one. And we've passed 30 minutes now, so thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.